in-between approach, where it was, we trusted our vision, but it was legal, so you kind of call those legal walls. And so ultimately, we painted 11 walls total, and the important sites that we painted are the Yoshi Outdoor Store, Scully Road Skate Shop, the original Gottschalk's building, the Tower Garden Wall, and the Fresno Guy building. And the three of which I'm going to talk about today are the ones highlighted in yellow. So for the first piece I'm talking about is the Yoshi Outdoor Store site. And this was the very first mural that we painted in 2008. And we wanted to use this one as a creative playground for artistic experimentation. And most of us had never really painted a mural, just a large scale mural. So we wanted to just be able to just soak up the whole experience like a sponge, and really figure out size and scale and colors that work together, how lines work, and all that that was going into the process of this intuitive process. And also, it was a great opportunity to build a connection with the owner that allowed us to start showing our work publicly, and in a true raw sense, where it was without censorship. And as for the imagery, we kept it very playful and very comic-like, because that was the type of imagery that we're very influenced by, kind of like this graffiti-esque elements as well. And that also reflected us as a youth back to viewers who would see it. We really wanted to promote youthful art and just really promote that process of how we painted and how it could connect with the more youthful culture, but as well as how it could connect with everyone who would see it in the community. And over the years, we had such a really good connection with the owners, where they allowed us just to keep painting it. So if you were to go there and see this wall, you would see a lot of different juxtaposition of styles as well, because it really shows the progression of our work and how it evolved on this wall. Here's just another photo of it. I actually did the character to the right, which is kind of this really dark, grim character, which was influenced by Dave McKean, a comic book artist. And the next wall I want to talk about, we actually, we did a lot of walls where we kept to that really free, open-minded aspect and not keeping to a certain vision. But this wall, we kind of jumped at it from a different direction, where we kind of knew exactly what we were doing and what type of message we were going to say, and had a full plan on it. So my friend Creighton Geigo and I had painted this one. And just to give you a brief background about this mural, it was a controversial communal garden in the Tower District, and the city wanted to bulldoze the plot of land back into a parking lot. But the community had fought so long, I think it was probably about 2 years, to really turn this into a communal garden. So one of the business owners had asked one of my friend Creighton, who was in the collective as well, to paint a piece that raised awareness of this issue. So we did it as bold as we could, and I did the pieces on the side that says "Save Our Garden," and in this real traditional graffiti style letters, just bold in your face, just telling people "Save Our Garden." And we wanted to be as bold and direct as we could be to people who would see it. And on the other side of it, there was we made it very allegorical. People could just connect with the whole entire story. So we put a bulldozer kind of pushing over this symbolic plant shield that was showing the strength of the garden. And after the fact we had painted, I started researching it, and the whole issue was on the news. And as you can see right here, it was on 47. And they always were focused on the wall, because it was the last actual structure of the building. I guess it was a house or building that used to be there, but that was the last standing piece of it. So it kind of had this concrete symbolic element to it. And as you can see, the community had started painting on the wall in typical bold graffiti, showing "Save Our Garden," but they never did it to the extent that we pushed it out there. And about a week later, it made it to KC24, and ultimately on the front page of the Fresno Bee. So that showed how impactful and bold our message was. And it connected not only with people in Tower who saw it, but it connected with the entire community of Fresno. They got to understand the issue. And I think our art was the voice, for the people, but in this beautiful aspect where people can connect with it and not just see it as as just a tag on the wall that said Save Our Garden. So for the last building I want to talk about is the Fresno Guide building. And this was one of the last, most recent pieces that we had did. And we wanted to jump back to that very free, intuitive process that we had first built the collective on. And we painted the whole top facade of this building. And, you know, it's about 2 stories tall, and then you're on the roof, and then the painting is another 2 stories up. So it's a big process just to even get the materials up there. And I want to focus on this piece because I think this was the most, you know, I don't know, like our best masterpiece that we did and we've ever done. And it had a lot of meaning to the building. And it was, just to give a brief history of the building, the owner ended up showing me the inside of it. And he told me that it was the old printing press and the old warehouse for the Fresno Guide, the old Fresno Guide newspaper that I think ran from the 40s to the 70s. So it had this really historical element to it as well. So the piece that I was working on was the middle section of this big pile of these objects that I painted in black and white so they would symbolize, you know, the newspaper, that black and white ink. But also the objects within it are, you know, paint buckets, spray cans, there's security bank building, you know, kind of relating to all these different stories of Fresno and kind of also mirroring what the newspaper did, how it used to, you know, present all these different stories and issues in Fresno. And, you know, we had a very juxtaposed style because we you know, used that very free process and the free style of painting that we had. So I think ultimately as viewers were able to see it, they, in a sense, created their own unique story on it too, because there's so much to read into it. But I want to show you a small video of the documentation that we did on this piece. I have to thank my friend Gary McGill and David Rigoza, because as we painted, I started understanding that the documentation is just as important as you know, as anything else. So this just gives you kind of that behind-the-scenes mentality, behind-the-scenes look at the whole mural. Together, we created access to artwork for all members of the community, and we did break free, you know, and just let the art roam free in Fresno and not just have it in a little gallery. And, together we were using dull public walls as blank canvases to help create a cultural discourse of ideas and perspectives within society. And ultimately, graffiti and public art can be used as a means to bring the community together through artistic expression and shared visions. So, thank you.